Hey guys, it's KTV here. Sorry I haven't had a video for a long time. However, we're doing a little tutorial / repair today. So you probably have had this problem before. You have a lamp like this, or anything really, but the wire is stupidly short. That wire is stupidly short. So you want to extend the wire. You don't want a junction box. That's where soldering iron comes in, and we've got to extend that. Move that plug over there, and now we have a longer wire in a neater way. So as you can see, this is a fully functional lamp. So if we press that switch, the bulb starts to illuminate straight away. So the bulb is working. It's a fully functional lamp. Okay, so it's a fully functional lamp. This one actually has an incandescent bulb in because it's that old. So you've just got a standard 40 watt old school bulb in there. Still shoots the job though, so you know, it hasn't bit the bullet yet. So obviously the tips to this is make sure your plug has screws on. If it does not have screws, then you are going to need to have a new plug like this to hand. However, in my case, I can take this plug and reuse this plug. So first things first, you are going to need to go inside your plug. So the best tools for this, some use flatheads, so the best tools for this is a Phillips head and a flathead. Some of them are all flatheads, some of them are all Phillips. Then you have the in-betweeners that use a bit of both. So you take your core grip out off the plug. Bear in mind you need a soldering iron and you need some Heatstrink solution for this. So, and a heat gun, may as well mention that. You can use a lighter, however I prefer a heat gun. So you take your plug apart, and in there you have, see, you have a flathead there. That's what you have a flathead. So you need to use your flathead to undo these screws here. So you undo the two screws. Bear in mind this lamp will take a 3 amp fuse because it is a low power appliance. So you've got to try and pull your screws up there. There you go. I like to keep this because this is useful. Alright, and the fuse is made by Skullmore Click. Right, so we'd put that plug, we'd put the lid on that plug for now. We'd take that aside. Then we'd take you to the next part. So you have your plug, you have your wire. You can't put your plug there and there and twist that together because there's a risk of 240 volts there. So here's the way to do it. So one of the wires needs to be a bit longer. I would choose the end without the appliance. So I would choose your new wire, put it back to a good point about there. Then use your side cutters to trim the whole appliances back. And just for reliability's sake, I will take this and this. Then this is a little bit short for terms of twisting, so I will simply pull this one and this one together, so you have your wire. So now you have your plug end, which has been stripped to the size for a plug, and you have your new end. Now how are you going to do it? How are you going to make the termination safe? So, sorry, I've got loads of toolboxes over here. So you'll need some of this solution. Now this is Heatstrink, and when heat is applied, that will shrink. So you need to cut a generous piece. So I would leave them about that big, so they go over. So you cut yourself a nice, this probably wasn't the best tool to use. Now you have your 2 bits of heatstrink solution. Now you got to mount it around your wire. So that's at the bottom, that one goes there, in here. Now this is at the bottom of the way, and obviously you need a bond to hold this together. So the way it goes is your, if I zoom in more at my hand type wire carrier, sorry I'm really struggling with this. Right, okay, so if I zoom in here and I put my wire over there, I'm going to kind of twist it in a way so it bonds. This can be a little bit fiddly, I'm going to warn you now. However, once you get it over, you may want to use a bit of release and you're not, you see what I mean, it's not, maybe put that under there, put that under there, there you go. Oh, see what I mean? It does not work. Very, very fiddly thing to do. However, you need to twist your wire so the 2 bonds go together like that. So the strands are loose-ish, yet they're hanging over each other, so they're in that type of way. So if you see how they are, they're in that type of way. So now you get your solder. I'm going to use this yellow tip one. Grab your soldering iron, and you need to let the solder melt into the core of the wire. Not too thick, because as it won't hold. However, there we go, that's a good generous bead of solder on that. Now you've got to make sure that it's strong. I would give it a while to cool down, so while you do that, be very careful and repeat the same over here. Remember, you might get a little burn from the excess heat off that solder, because that iron heats to 200 degrees or something. I really don't know how high they get, but I know some of the more advanced models can get higher. That's just a basic Silverline one, so I don't think that one's going to do much in terms of heat, but you still wouldn't want to touch it.
How do you screenshot? Kieran?
What?
How do you screenshot?
Making a video. Just what, on the iPad?
No, I'm on laptop.
Print screen.
Oh.
Right, okay guys. So you have to do the other solder joint to, yeah, sorry about that. Okay. Make sure your beads are generously joined up so you have a lovely electrical connection. Also reduce the lumps in the wire, because lumps will cause you problems. Okay, so now we have 2 nice connections over there, so allow them to cool. And I don't have a roll of heat string like that. However, in my toolbox I do have a kit, so while I allow that to cool, I need to work out the size that this will do. So will this be it or not? You know, you need to go to the end of the wire and you need to work out what fits snugly. This looks like it's going to be a snug fit. Yes, that does look nice and snug. That's a lovely snug fit. There's space there, but you've got to bear in mind that will shrink. So we'd leave that there. Now your solder joints have cooled, you need to get your heatstrink. And even if that doesn't quite go over properly, it needs to go over properly on both of them. At least one of them, to get a good connection. So I would leave maybe if I get my solder sucker, then I should be able to make it a bit thinner. Let's remove some of this. Depends whether this solder sucker works, to be honest with you, because I'm not sure whether this one will work, because it has not been used for quite some time. Just try and squeeze them off together as best as I can. That should be nice and thin to go over. There we go. That's dealt with it. Now you need an electric heat gun. This one is a ELX one. However, you plug it in and you go up to speed. I tend to go to speed 2. But then we are ready to shrink the heat shrink. So we go to heatstrink 2. You want to be fair in terms of your heat. You want to be short and snappy. You don't want to be too tight or too right. So your best bet now is to allow that to cool. However, that's shrunk snugly around the thing. So if I compare this, this was the size I'm using, if I compare that, as we can see I'm going to need to put a second piece of it on there because that's not quite as tall enough. So let's do it. I believe this stuff is it is waterproof, but I don't really want to try it. Just like any wire, you don't want to submerge it in water. So your best bet is just treat it like any other wire. Right, okay. So what I tend to do is pinch these two and go over, and as we can see that has not quite gone over there. So we need a secondary piece. I could use one bit if I had it in the form of by the meter, then I would have got it like that. Doesn't really matter about the writing, but the rating is quite important on here. So where it says all the writing telling you about the rating, you should take note of that, and you shouldn't exceed that in any possible way. Would I be able to squeeze them together a little bit so they break down the middle and not go over? Okay, can we do it? Can we do it? There we go, let that shrink there. Shrink that like that. So once again, the same procedure arrives. It's the heat gun and heat 2. Right, now that's gone all goopy for a second, so allow that to cool. While we're at that, you get your plug. I'm using the same one because I had a rewirable one. So I'm going to take this plug and I'm going to rewire the plug according to the guidelines. So I can switch all my heat tools off now because I'm done in that area. Okay, now you want the end of your wire. So I tend to do it really small because I do want to use this grip again if I can, which I think Actually, if that won't go through, then I'll have to remove it. Oh, there we go. Will it make it through, or is it going to get stuck? No, so I cannot use that again. However, it can just go round into the plug. Right, okay, so we have to use flathead to do the screws up. So that screw goes neutral to the left, Skullmore fuse in there, which is nice to see a fuse from a genuine manufacturer and not just this cheap Chinese things. The worst one I've seen is Asia fuse, and I don't know whether they have sand in like the one should. I know Busman are the top fuse makers. Right, okay. So get our fuse back, we throw our fuse in again, we get our core grip over, and we core grip the plug as necessary. So core grip is on. Remember, this appliance does not require an earth, but you might have one, and your earth terminal just goes up there. So get a lid on. This would be good because I use this lamp at night to illuminate my keyboard sometimes, so having a longer wire to get to the socket will be a much appreciated thing. Just allow that heat shrink to cool down a bit more. As you can see, that's a lovely strong connection, and that lamp now has a lovely length of wire on it, so yeah. Right, okay. And as you can see, we have a lovely secure connection, and our lamp works safely. So here's how to extend the wire on the lamp. I do not take any responsibility if you do anything stupid. Just be safe with it, and before you know it, you'll have a lamp with a longer wire without buying a new one and without using the junction box. So that wraps up this video for now. Bye guys, remember to keep safe during this pandemic, and that's it.